What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to Marvel Future Revolution. We're jumping into another episode of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today we're going to focus on Dimension Duels, and I felt that it was appropriate since we dropped the Omega War stuff earlier and we talked about that. I compared it to Alliance Conquest inside Marvel Future Fight, and I want to elaborate on that really quickly. Basically, the game gives us two in-state PvP modes, right? There's explicitly PvP. There's not like Dark Zone where, you know, it's a mix of PvE and PvP. They're explicitly. The difference with Dimension Duels is that you really look at this mode more as a single player endeavor. It doesn't really require any kind of, you know, there's no coordination that needs to happen for this mode. Omega War is, I compared it to Alliance Conquest because Alliance Conquest is simply that. If you looked at a Marvel Future Fight and you were a player, an actual player of Alliance Conquest, you know, one of the main complaints that players had about Alliance Conquest and Marvel Future Fight was that it was autoplay. You know, so it was, you had PvP, which was timeline battle inside Marvel Future Fight, and that would be the comparison to Dimension Duels. But the problem was that in Omega, you know, you jump into Alliance Conquest and you'd spend so many hours trying to play the mode, and the sucky part about it was just an autoplay mode, so you never really felt like you determined the outcome of the battles. It would basically be power on power, you know, you putting 3 players or a total of 6 characters into a slot and defend and attack zones in autoplay fashion. And I think most players would have preferred that to be a non-autoplay option. I think it's one of the things that players are still considering, you know, clamoring for. The same thing could be said for Omega War here, where there is structure inside Alliance Conquest, meaning the structure of Alliance Conquest is good. The actual gameplay isn't. If Omega War could have the structure that is inside of Alliance Conquest inside Marvel Future Fight, I feel like the game mode would benefit, where Alliance Conquest benefit from the actual play and real-time play of Omega War. I think in terms of that, both games have something to benefit off there. That's why I brought up the point that I would like to see Omega War be more of a coordinated thing with your Alliance members or friends, where you could literally schedule out the battles inside Omega War, and you could schedule out the battle times where you're going to do. So say, you know, Sigma wants to fight X-Force, we could basically say, hey, 9 p.m. at 9 p.m. Friday, we're going to battle, and we basically got our top 3 guys versus your top 3 guys in a 3v3. We've got our top 10 guys versus your top 10 guys in a 10-on-10. We've got our five guys versus your 5 guys participating in a 5v5, and so forth like that. So that way you can say, and then maybe perhaps you go, well, we're gonna do an all-out Omega War, right? Because that's the end, right? Omega is the end. Is that we're gonna then do a, you know, 25-on-25 battle, you know, our top 25 versus your top 25, and it's just gonna be all-out battle. The winner of all of those pools is basically the Omega War. That to me would make it feel better, because it would feel more tournament style. Right now it just feels like a hodgepodge mode of just throwing things in. So I wanted to clarify that. Now we talk about Dimension Duels, right? And Dimension Duels are one of the, it's a solo effort, right? Meaning that there's no requirement for you to play. This is solely based on your character development and how they're going. So let's first talk about the good with Dimension Duels. The good of Dimension Duels is I actually find the reward system inside here to be actually pretty decent. Like, I'm going to be legitimately honest. I can see Halfson, he's leader of my alliance. He's sitting at the top rank right now. The rewards that you're getting for here are definitely rewarding, because you're actually collecting crystal rewards. Crystal rewards, however few or many you believe that you should be getting, because it's going to change whether you're a whale, free to play, or whatever. You know, free to play is always going to be like, we want more crystals and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we just can't just give you more crystals. it's a rewarding event to play in, and you can see the rewards scale basically with your abilities to climb the ladder. But even that alone, there's more deeper rewards inside of there. Besides the crystal rewards that's on a weekly ranking basis, you have the ability to get some good rewards from just scaling through the very beginning of the missions, from costume boxes to cores to potential reports, to uniforms. You're basically going up the scale, convergium and stuff like that. I would have liked to see more potential reports available in here as it scaled up, because I thought this would have been a great place in order to put the potential reports, because I thought that if they would have added these at every level, that it would have been a far more rewarding mode, because it's so individual, meaning your potential for your character is something that you individually do, and this is tied to your individual character. So I thought that it would have been great if they added more potential rewards. The fact that they added costumes in here, so you can see basically as you get up to platinum rank and stuff like that, you start to get higher in the costumes, meaning that they're going to give you a 2, 4-star, 5-star, and even all the way, if you ever reach the level 1900, a 6-star costume box and a 6-star core selection box. Why the costume box isn't a costume selection box but the core box is, I'm really not sure. I think that reward should be probably a selection box in general over there. But as you can see, what I'm saying is the rewards in here beneath are pretty good. Where the system falters a little bit in terms of rewards, in my opinion, is the victory versus consolation rewards, victory versus defeat. The squad XP rewards for victory are so far off from where the defeat rewards are. You're basically only getting 2 of these dimension duel tokens and 20 squad rank XP for losing a battle. As opposed, this is like almost like saying, like, you know, it's 100 times better to win than it is to lose. But you know, you gotta make it feel like if a player still jumps inside the mode, that they don't feel like they just completely wasted your time. With these rewards, you feel like you completely wasted your time when you lose a battle. So therefore, more and more players are gonna look at the mode and be like, if I can't compete inside here, then it's really not gonna matter to me, you know, when I look at that. So that's where we start to get into the bad, right? It's because when we look at what the rewards are for here. So for instance, if I jump inside here and I go to my token shop and we look at Dimension Duels, the rewards that you're purchasing with Dimension tokens are actually relatively good. You know, I can purchase classified data, potential reports, and other things that are going to benefit my squad and benefit my individual character with squad rank XP and so forth like that. So these rewards are actually good because they're garnered towards your character. It doesn't have to affect anything else inside the game. It's just about your individual play and your progression as a character. But then that's where we get into the bad part, right? The bad part about Dimension Duels is literally that we jump inside Dimension Duels and those rewards are there, but it puts it way far off if I'm losing battles, right? Because getting 2 tokens doesn't really compute, meaning like if I do 5 battles a day, that means I get 10 tokens. That means like if I lose 5 battles jumping in, I get 10 tokens at most a day. That's only 70 tokens a week. So in the time that I would build this out and start trying to build up my characters to get inside here, well, now I look at the Dimension Duel rewards inside here and go, what am I going to be able to purchase at the end of the week if I lose everything? And you're basically not going to purchase much. Like region costume material selections, that's not good. That reward needs to be removed from the shop altogether. Even your shattered anti-convergium box, you could spend less time just playing normal challenge raid and get more than this. So the reward is there for losing. The constellation rewards, they're not enough. They really need to boost those level rewards. But this is the part where it gets deeper into the bad, because I'm not going to say there's a lot ugly about the mode, because I know people are going to argue with me in the sections about this. Why am I going to dark zone? People are going to argue about this inside the section, but here goes the truth about this matter, right? When you jump inside of Dimension Duels, you're basically being paired against other players. And one of the things that was really bad about Omega War was when we addressed it with the devs and we were saying, hey, we want this mode to be better, they immediately went and looked at level. So they said they were going to add a matchmaking system for level. And that meant that, you know, my player level 110 to 103. But that doesn't matter in this game. Your player's individual level doesn't matter so much as the squad level matters, and so much as the power level matters. So it's a concerning thing for me because it almost makes it seem like they don't understand their game. So you can see how this battle goes down really quickly because the person that I'm paired with is nowhere in the same power level as me. They're not in the same power demographic. It doesn't make sense for me to be battling them because, yeah, their player is at that level that we could battle, you know, between 100 and 110, but that's not indicative of their true power, because if their squad rank XP, if their squad rank is 100, mine is 165 and theirs is 100, there's a huge gap in terms of that squad rank power. Now this is the power that's available to me. There's infinitesimally big greater, right? The same thing with looking at my power. You go, I'm 1.2 million power. The difference in finding a player there is just hugely differential. So they need to add a matchmaking system inside this game that literally facilitates better matchmaking based on character power level, not character level, power level. So for instance, this is a fair matching, 165, 165, 110, 110. It's a fair matching. I know Hexane, I've actually looked at his character build and I know that he's significantly more geared than I am, but not so much where it's like outside the realm of possibilities that I could defeat him, knowing some of the skills. And this is where the game mode actually gets really fun, because you're working through skills and trying to understand the dodge mechanics. Against Iron Man, it's a little bit different because he has his goddamn iframes that makes the format a little bit annoying, and that's where we get to what could be classified as the ugly, is the lack of class balance in the game, or character balance. But I don't look at this necessarily as an ugly feature, because to be honest, you show me a fighting game or a fighting system game where there's not character imbalances that, you know, you're having developers try to fix at all times. If you play Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, you know, Naruto, even the new Demon Slayer game, there's always a meta of these characters that are really strong, and you're hoping that you know, other players get patched and so forth like that. So it's not surprising to me that that's happening. You know what I mean? Like, it's not surprising to me that there's an imbalance in characters. Like, Doctor Strange is very weak because he has such, especially inside this mode, because he has such very, very long animations that he goes to start him up. By the time the spell actually attacks, you know, your character's out there. That was one of the reasons why a lot of players are using Tower of Mandalas, for instance, in Vigilante Assault, because even though I cast them, I'm still able to get them. But most time, by the time you see Doctor Strange summoning up his spell, you can already begin the dodge effect for it. So it's kind of weird in that respect. But that would be your most ugliest thing that you would basically be looking at with Dimension Duels. But it becomes unrewarding if I know that I fight Hexane and all I got was 2 tokens for that and 20 squad rank XP. Meanwhile, he gained 20 tokens, meaning that in a difference in a day, he could get 100 tokens, right? If you won all 5 of your battles, you get 100 tokens versus 10 tokens. That's literally 100 times the reward. So now players who are literally at the top of the echelon are going to clearly be way further out in the head as long as they're keeping their characters geared out, spec'd out, because it's going to increase the gap even more. There's no way as a free-to-play player that you catch up inside Dimension Duels, for instance, and that makes it hard to climb the ladder and get some of these rewards, because the more and more these people are beating you, the further out your ability to catch up to them is. Now, here goes something that's really interesting. Halfsin did a video about player count, and I think it was Wooby Thor, or Who is Deadpool, did a video basically using battle challenge rankings in order to show how many people. You can see basically on Omega Flight, we're basically looking at somewhat of a delay in terms of Dimension Duels. Like, you could literally be waiting upwards of like I think the longest I've waited for a battle was probably about 3 to 5 minutes inside here for Dimension Duels, and that's basically a failure on the part of the developers because you're saying it's the servers. So I pointed out to you guys previously with like Bleach Mobile 3D that you literally have inside that game mode where they already have cross server play, and I expect that this is going to come sometime soon, or you know, sometime in the near future, where we are going to probably most likely have cross server Omega War, cross server Dimension Duels as another tacked on method. It's a very popular thing that they did inside Bleach Mobile 3D. They did inside Tokyo Ghoul. What was the name of that? Ghoul War, was it? I can't even remember the name of that one right there. I like, it was a really popular Tokyo Ghoul game, but I can't remember what the name of it was. I played it so long ago. So it's one of those things, guys. It like, to be honest, this is one of the few modes in the game that I find distasteful and don't like playing. I actually enjoy playing this mode on most days. It's just how much effort in a week I really want to give to this, whether I want to work outside of the 5 reward account or play more. Like for instance, right now, if I had to take a look at the game and I was to say the battle rewards, for instance, right, I've probably the highest I've obtained was probably Master 3, I think it was. So I have the Master 3 rewards, right, where I've already accounted for these, but I know that basically getting to 1700, 1800, and 1900 is going to be really, really difficult within the pool that I'm in, because this was literally like being able to break the top 50 players at this point, right? And that means it's going to be difficult. I'm ranked 70 right now, or 68, however you want to look at that, and it's just going to be hard. So it's weird, but I actually enjoy Dimension Duels. Let me know in the comment section. Do you guys like it? What do you see? What do you think about the future of cross server Dimension Duels and cross server Omega Wars? I think there'll be good modes, but I think they need to fix these modes and develop a matchmaking system so that way there's brackets and people are playing within brackets and have better chances of getting rewards. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Appreciate it. Have a great day, guys. Peace.